Good day, I am Yani Janel Mercado of Grade 7 Dahlia at FU Roosevelt Rodriguez. Today I'll be talking about moral law, freedom, and human dignity. Moral law, the basis of right mind and good deed. The world around us consists of different beliefs, values, rules, and norms, which all lay down on how one should behave in society. It is imperative to create distinctions between all of these to avoid confusion and ambiguity. Two such conflicts which are often talked about together are law and morality. Laws are formal rules that govern how we behave as members of a society that specify what we must do and we must not do. Morality, on the other hand, refers to an informal framework of values, principles, beliefs, customs, and ways of living. The moral law is the basis of right and good human deeds. Question: when a person commits a serious sin, should he still be respected in society? In the Bible, found in the book of John, chapter 8, Jesus was teaching in the temple when the scribes and Pharisees brought to him a woman who had been caught in the act of adultery, and they asked him if she should be stoned as required by the law of Moses. Jesus said, "If any one of you is without a sin, let him be the first to throw a stone at her." We must admit all of us is a sinner. But we should learn that we do not accuse others unless we first thoroughly search hearts and minds to make certain that we are pure in every possible aspect. Even when a person commits a serious sin, he should face what punishment he deserved. But we should use every possible opportunity to forgive and to reach out with the gospel and the love of Christ, always remembering that we, too, are sinners in the need of the Savior. Now let's talk about freedom. Where did it come from and where does it go? It is human nature to be free to think, to decide, to dream, to long, to love, to be angry, and to act. Freedom must be used responsibly. Freedom of mind is a power of God's grace gifted to man so that he can choose to obey or disobey his commandments. The purpose of freedom is for love. The man who is not free within himself is not free to love his neighbor. And when he doesn't love, he will not be truly free. Remember, as your freedom expands, your responsibility does too. Question: when dealing with a problem, which should lead, using the heart or the mind? All thoughts come from the brain, manifested in the mind, but influenced by the heart. However, here, the heart is a metaphor for emotions and intuition. There is no heart versus brain or heart versus mind as such. There isn't any thought versus feeling or logic versus emotion either. When dealing with a problem, we need to evaluate our thoughts and acknowledge our feelings, and then make a rational decision based on both feelings and thoughts. It would help us address both sides together as one, and think of them as different perspectives. Now let's talk about human dignity. Must be protected and respected. The four most important actions for the protection of human dignity are: protection of the sanctity of life and its origin, from conception to the stage of life, sanctity of marriage; protecting the dignity of work. The person who works is God's helper in the care of the world. Acquisition of full education and culture. Whole education, education to seek truth. Development of the common good and just society. Question: what is more important in human freedom? Inner freedom or outer freedom? Inner freedom can be earned by those individuals who are able to assume the responsibility for their adapted actions in an environment, being able to leave aside their own needs when making decisions. Inner freedom is much more different than outer freedom. Outer freedom is what many of us actually seek, knowing too little that outer freedom is something you can never achieve. You are actually enslaved by your own circumstances. Moreover, inward freedom has far greater value than outer freedom. Outer freedom is real possibility. Real is Latin and means pertaining to things. Moreover, inner freedom has far greater value because it is something many of us do not realize. It is true that only through inner peace that we can have true outer freedom. Without inner satisfaction, there can be no freedom. Without freedom, there is no joy. We gain inner freedom through outer freedom. I hope you have learned something from me about moral law, freedom, and human dignity. Have a good day.